What's up, YouTube? And we are back. This video was I had to do this video. It was a response video based off of Woody the trucker. You guys might know him, and I had to respond to his video. To his video. Pretty much, his video was talking about factoring, how it is a ripoff when you're starting your trucking authority. First of all, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to mash the like button, mash the subscribe button, and hit the bell on your way out. All right. My man says in the main part of the video, you say if you don't have the means to pay for fuel, your truck note, trailer note, etc., all that stuff, then you shouldn't have gotten your authority. What he's saying is, if you're going out, you get your authority and you wind up choosing a factoring company, right? You wind up choosing a factoring company because these brokers, they take a while to pay. And because they take a while to pay, you're trying to get your money as soon as possible so that you can pay for fuel, etc., and all that stuff. That's not one of the only reasons people choose a factoring company, right? So, and we're talking about Woody the trucker here, Woody on YouTube, all right? And essentially, you're trying to get money for your business, right? And what is he saying is that it is a ripoff. Now, I can agree with you there. Factoring can be a ripoff, but like with everything here in the trucking industry, you can use things as a tool, right? And you're saying pretty much that you recommend to have $50,000 set aside before you go get your authority. Well, here's some truth, all right? I gotta expose the numbers because it's pretty funny. You sit there and you talk about somebody getting the authority when you haven't even gotten your authority, right? And let's talk about the rates, right? Let's talk about the rates. This is not a complete this is just me saying, you're wrong in what you're saying. There's some good points, but then there's a lot of bad points, right? There's people that choose factoring companies for a number of reasons, right? Reason number one, you want to optimize your cash flow. You don't want to wait to the broker pays. A lot of these brokers, they're not going to be paying every 7 days, maybe 14 days. They're going to be paying 30 days. If you're not going to take no quick pay, if you're just going to wait to take the whole pie, right? So you're going to wait 30 days, maybe even 60 days, and we might even stretch it to say 90 days, right? On the average, every trucking company, every broker is going to pay about the 33rd day. And this is nothing I come up with. This is what factoring companies are telling you. This is what our customers are averaging, what most people are bringing. They wind up paying at 33 days. And so a factoring company, let me just explain what a factoring company is going to take your bill of lading right here, which you deliver, and they're going to pay you up front for that instead of having to wait the 30, 60, 90 days to get paid, or if you did quick pay, right? Now, we're trying to eliminate people's hands in our pockets, right? Essentially, that's what we're all trying to do, right? And you're saying this number, the factoring companies are taking about 5%, right? Let me tell you something. I still have yet to find a company that is taking 5%. Most of them are taking 3%, and some of them are taking 2%. Some of them are doing 2.5%, and on the rare occasion, there's some that take 4%. But I have yet to find somebody that's taking 5%. Now, it's all volume based, right? So if you're using a factoring company with X amount of trucks, 2, 3 trucks, whatever, the more that you're bringing to them, the less that they're gonna cut you out on a deal, right? So if you have 5 trucks, they're probably gonna start you off at 2%, right? But if you're starting off at 1 truck and now you're only doing maybe 1 or 2 loads a week, it's really an inconvenience to have you. So they might be charging you that 5% that you came up with, the 5%, right? So we're just gonna go off based off 3%, right? Because 3% I think is the average on factoring companies, right? And we're going to use your number, 6,000, right? 6,000 is what the truck grossed a week, right? And the factoring company obviously is going to take that percentage, that 3% off the 6,000. All right. Let me check here. We got some comments. SoCal Trucker, it's only 1.5, which is 150 on 10,000. Charles Brandt, hey, Charles Brandt, good afternoon, everybody. Top of the morning to you, Charles Brandt. So 6,043, right? I've written on this piece of paper the percentages of 5%, 3%, and then I even included 20% and 12%. Now you might ask, why am I including 20%? Well, what you're saying is nobody should go and get in their authority, and you should just be leased on to where you're at until you got 50 grand, right? But what if I was to tell you, if you leave the company that you're at right now, you'll probably be getting 50 grand once the year's completed. You see what I'm saying? So you're saying that you shouldn't go out and get your authority because just because you can't get factoring done, just because you can't afford to live without factoring, do your business without factoring, and you should just give the rest of the money to your carrier, right? Here's the numbers, right? So we got 6,000, right? That's what the truck grows based off 43 weeks. I did 43 weeks because I thought that was a normal amount for over-the-road truckers. So we'll just go off 43 weeks, all right? So right here is with some numbers, all right? So 6,000 a week we got for the truck. 258,000 is what that truck made gross for the whole year, right? 6,000 times 43, 258, all right? So with that number, we're going to see what you're going to be giving the factoring company, right? Let's just say you get into a 3% deal with your factoring company, right? That's $7,740 for the whole year. Now, that is $7,000, for the whole year. Whichever way you want to cut it, that is money. Yes, that is money, like you said, 10% possibly out of your profit, depending how much money your trucks are making, right? Now, I agree with you there. That's money you're losing. But at the same time, it costs money to make money in business, period. And to be hunting down individuals like brokers and other carriers for... Jesus Christ. All right. Sorry about that. So, phone just fell off. All right. So, to be... All right, sorry about that. To be hunting down, brokers and carriers and all that, depending on what kind of operation you're doing. If you're doing an over-the-road business, then you're gonna be pulling off 5 invoices a week on the average. It might be even 6 or 7, depending how many you do. One bill of lading, and we're not considering most of these invoices might be from the same customer. So it all depends on your business model, right? So the other thing is that somebody might not even want to deal with that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might not even want to be chasing down 20 invoices a month, right? If they're even paying in 30 days, right? So, you got to have this Excel spreadsheet and blah, blah, blah. So you're giving you as an owner op, you're putting more stuff on top of your plate, right? Not only are you're doing your numbers for yourself, trying to see how much money you gain, rate per mile and this, that, the third, and how much money you actually made per profit and running your business and driving the truck and all that. Well, now you got to call people up to try to find your money, right? So in a sense, 7,740 is a very cheap alternative to not be doing that shit. Straight up. Because 7,000, it ain't much, right? Now we go off 5%. 5%, 12,000, that comes out to about 12,900 for the year if we go with the 5% that you said, right? Yes, it is a little high. And I think, eventually you might not want to be doing factoring. It just depends on your business model, So you can't really say you shouldn't be doing it and you shouldn't have gotten into it. There's pros and cons to factoring, and it's just based off of the way you're running shit, you know what I mean? Because now, let's just say you got multiple trucks now, right? Well, now that number just gets times by how many trucks you got. Now you're talking money, right? It's like a volume thing, you know? And so if you got, let's just say 5 trucks, right? You got 5 trucks and you're doing, you know, the 3% or 5%, that's roughly about 10 grand a year. That's 50 grand. Well, now it's almost viable to do something about that 50,000, you know? Like, should you actually start hunting down these people? Well, guess what? You could probably hire somebody after you got the 5 trucks and have them hunt down people, you know, for your invoices, you know, because if you don't hunt them down, the money's never going to hit your bank account, straight up. These brokers are not going to call you and say, hey, we got $6,000 of you, where do you want me to deposit? It's not going to happen, you know. It might happen for 1 or 2, but it's not going to happen for everybody. So I think this is a very cheap alternative for the person with 1, 2, or 3 trucks that doesn't really have somebody set up or has hired somebody to manage their back office. If you understand what I'm saying, this is very cheap alternative, you know. And the money that you're saying is the 50 grand for being, you need to save that 50 grand before getting your authority. I call it horseshit, because you're saying save up to 50 grand, or if not, you got to stay leased on, right? And the place that you're leased on, you're probably paying the, you know, you're paying them 20% of your gross income anyways, right? So 20% for the whole year is 51,600. So there goes your 50 grand that you were talking about. So you're worried about the $7,000 or $10,000 you could be saving from not having your own authority, but you could be having, you know, you could be saving this 50 grand. You know, you're not seeing the bigger number. The bigger number is that you're still not, I'm not talking to you, I'm just talking in general. You're still leased on to a company that's taking 20% off the top. So you're losing, you know, this is a win anyways, regardless if you go get out your own authority, whether you choose to factor or not. If you do factor, you're still winning, because you go from 20%, giving 20% away, to only 3 or 5%. So that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, all right. So that's what I'm trying to get at. You know, there's no such, you know, there's other reasons why people get into factoring. You know what? The main reason being you don't have, you know, the capacity to pay for fuel and tolls for, you know, 30, 60 days. You know, we're not even going to consider quick pay, you know, because we want to get rid of the percentage, because with quick pay you still lose out a percentage. So we're just going to say 30, 60 days. If you don't have the capacity to be able to do that, you should be leased on. Well, leasing on, you're losing a lot more money. You're losing roughly 40,000 compared to the 3 or 4% that you would be giving, right? So, you know, that's just, you know, my view on what I said. You know, I just started my authority yesterday because of issues with UCC filing and stuff like that. I can't factor, so I'm not gonna be factoring, you know. But I was gonna factor. You know, I was going to factor because, yeah, straight up, I don't need to put myself through that, you know, to call these brokers 30, 60, 90 days to get my money. You know, as a one-man operation, if you don't have a wife or, you know, significant other, you're going to be putting that, you know, stress on top of yourself to be calling these people up for your money, you know. And that's the thing, you know. The other reasons for people who do factoring, like you said, holy shit, I need to get a new mount. That's what it is. This mount sucks dick. Anyways, what we're saying right now is, Jesus Christ, I'm just gonna have to hold this up. So anyways, what I'm saying is, essentially, you should factor, you know, based off of, you know, your business. You know, if you can't freaking if you can't, you know, cash flow for the first 30, 60, 90 days, you know, then it is what it is. You're just gonna have to factor, and factoring doesn't really cost that much money, you know. So anyways, what I was saying is other reasons people do it is because, oh, you might be afraid that you're not going to get your money because the customer doesn't pay. Now you're right about that. You know, most companies that you're going to deal with, if you're dealing with the right people, they are gonna pay, and they're not just gonna bounce. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna just leave you high and dry. There is no such thing as non-recourse factoring. The ones that do offer that might be at a very high percentage, like a 5%, like you probably said. But most of them, you still got to pay it back. They'll just do it in payments, you know. Give me $100 here and $100 there every week, and then until we satisfy this freight bill. And you know, so that's another reason people choose a factor. Some people choose a factor just to get their money up for the first, you know, 90 days. Some people even choose factoring because some factoring companies have some good stuff that they don't qualify elsewhere, where you can get trucks based off of your income, and they have a network of people giving money out. So you might choose to factor just for that reason. There's a million reasons why you would choose to factor than the one reason only that you would choose not to factor, which is because you want to have, you know, all of the money. You know, that is a big percentage, yes, at the end of the year. And when you have a lot of trucks, it's just a matter of actually hiring somebody to do it. The money still gets spent, though. It's not like, you know, the money still gets spent. It's not like you're gonna get away from not spending the money, because the money gets spent somewhere, somehow, whether it be you actually staying at the house and doing, you know, chasing these people down for your invoices, because that is time. You know, that's as an asset to your company. You could be, you know, spending your time elsewhere, or it's still time and money because you still want to pay yourself that as well. So, or you might have to pay somebody else to do it. So regardless, I still think, you know, you're gonna lose out on this money, this percentage, somewhere down the line, whether you hire somebody, whether you're doing it. Time is money at the end of the day, and factoring could be a very nice option for a lot of people, you know. Let's see. We got, how many trucks do you have, and are you making payments? I have 2 trucks, not making no payments. Okay, we got YC Trucking, sorry, JYC. Woody says he gets 97% of the load. We got C Melon, what's good, bro? So quick pay is better than factoring. Well, here's the thing. Quick pay can be better than factoring sometimes, but it can't be, because not every broker offers quick pay. So if you're choosing not to factor in and just using quick pay, it can be good, but just know that not every broker that you deal with out here that you pull a load for doesn't have quick pay. And that you might have to wait the 30, 60 days. We got Still Hogging. We got, oh, wow, we got Ghost up in the house. We got Keeping the Trucking. I need this info. Quick pay percentage is actually lower than factoring. JYC Trucking. I'm not going to get my authority because I don't have 50K in the bank. That's dummy to me. That's my point, is what I'm trying to say. Just because you don't have $50,000 in the bank doesn't mean you can't go, you know, get your authority. It makes it better. It does make it better. Yes, having, you know, but just in any business, the more money you have to start with, the more that the rate, you know, the chances are that you're going to be successful. So yes, having 50,000 is going to be good, you know, absolutely. But honestly, who has 50 grand just sitting in the bank, you know, right before they go out and jump off their authority? Not many people, you know. We got Keep It Trucking. When getting your own authority, do you have to factor? You don't have to factor. All right. There's other reasons. You know, we're going to talk about my homie JYC Trucking. Right. I don't know his full deals, but he's home a lot more than I am. Right. I stay out on the road about 6 weeks at a time, or you know, 4 weeks or whatever. Take a week off. Right. He's probably, you know, for somebody in a scenario in his shoes where he only home probably, you know, on the road probably, you know, 5 days out of the week, he's probably handling the, you know, he's probably not doing factoring just because he has the time to call people, and plus he's not using nearly as much fuel as somebody is over the road, where you could be spending 1,500 to 1,600 a week on fuel per truck, and minus tolls, you know, that you got to be able to have cash flow for. So, you know, for him running his operation, he chose not to factor just because he doesn't really need to. You see what I'm saying? So it's just all depending on the way you have it set up. So, you know, if you have your own authority and you're doing local runs, yeah, you probably don't need to factor, because you really don't have that many invoices that you have to factor, and you only got to probably call 1 or 2 people. You probably have a direct shipper, and you only got to call 1 or 2 people to get your money. And when you're dealing with 1 or 2 people, instead of, you know, however many brokers there out here, you know how many there are, there's hundreds, you know, you're not concerned about getting your money, and so you don't have to factor. It says own authority is only for the boss-minded people who know the trade. Thank you. That too, I want a bigger piece of my pie. I factor over 100K a month. My factoring company only takes 2.73. And this is what I'm saying, folks. And still hogging, yeah, you're right. Ghost, you're right. It's all volume based. You know, the more trucks you have, the more they're gonna cut you slack on, right? They're gonna take a less percentage. But obviously, like you said, Woody, you know, the more trucks you do have, you know, that's more money that you are losing. 100% agree on you with that. Why do these companies take so long to pay out for delivery to companies? 100%, keeping it 100, just straight up, that's just the way business works. You have net 30 accounts, and it's just kind of business. They take 30, you have net 30 accounts, net 60 accounts, net 15. People take this long to pay out just because, you know, most people, when most businesses, when they're running their numbers, they're seeing it to a monthly profit basis. Some businesses don't even see profit until after 30 days. So they don't, you know, make payouts until the 30 days happen, right? We got YRC, that's a good ass deal. Yes. What's good, Hamlet? I'm tired watching reruns of your truck. How's the build going? The build is going. I finally got my computer back, and I should be dropping a video tonight. Factoring keeps records of all the brokers and payments that go out. Exactly. So you can use it, the factoring company, as a way to kind of keep accountability. I need to keep you in mind still, Hagen, STV. What is the broker don't pay? Does the factoring company charge back? Most factoring companies are going to charge you back. All right, they're going to set it up in payments so that you know, it's not one blow. Hey, this run from, you know, New York to Cali was about, you know, 6 grand, 8 grand. We're gonna make it, we're gonna, you know, spill it out so you don't have to, you know, lose out on that money. Another reason not to factor, yes, they do put a UCC loan, UCC filing against you, and possibly on all your equipment or just on your receivables. So that's another reason why not. Hamlet, so you finished your truck? No, the truck is not finished. I got my guys working at the shop finishing up. My wife runs it really good, so I'm good on that. That's why I didn't do it. She's too good for me to go somewhere else. And that too, bro. Exactly. JYC Trucking. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So we got Alpha. I never factored, been 10 years in business. There are some shady brokers out there though. Exactly. I was factoring here, SoCal. I was factoring here, and it's just because it's easier to keep up with the books. For a one-person operation, it is so much easier to keep in the books when you're doing it over the road and probably doing multiple transactions. All right. I heard some companies can't even do factoring for whatever reason. Is that true? You got to have your authority to be able to factor, okay? Because the name on the bill is not going to be your company, all right? We got still hogging, keeping it 100, okay? If you don't pay me, I chase you down. Exactly. SoCal Truck Gang all day, giving 24 info. 20. Wow. Okay. How can I talk to you for advice? Not all factoring companies are contract based, and that's the other thing. You know, a lot of these factoring companies are going to be some of them are contract based off 30 days, 6 months, you know, or a year. So you got to have your options open. You have to review these factoring companies. There are some bad factoring companies out there, but just as anything, you need to do your homework on the stuff, you know. So this is not like 100% shot, you know, to Woody, but you know what you said is definitely, I didn't, I don't agree with it 100%. All right. And you should definitely get your own authority, because that 50 grand you're talking about, by you leaving your lease on carrier at 20%, you are making that 50 grand in a year. Okay. So, my wife is here along with me on the road. She's a little pissed off right now because I've been YouTubing for the past 25 minutes.
Can you go away?
And I gotta go away now. So, anyways, guys, if you lease to a carrier, you can't factor. If you have authority, you can't factor another authority's rate con. Exactly, because the numbers on the invoices, on the bill of lading, says that other company, and you have to be authorized to be able to do so, right? How do you get brokers and receivers under your belt? Nice family. How do you get brokers and receivers under your belt? Well, here's the thing. The brokers, it's just this whole authority trucking thing is all based off reputation, right? If you are, if you're providing good, good customer service, not being late, doing a lot of loads for the same brokers, you get them under your belt. You get people that you get haul for. Ask Still Hogging, he's getting an account for himself, and that's all based off reputation. He says, and then you got to do carrier packets for all these individuals. So anyways, getting off subject here, those are the numbers, folks. So factoring company can be a ripoff. I would say, in the end, you can rather hire somebody in your family to do the factoring. That way you're kind of keeping the money within the circle, instead of giving it to a factoring company. So yes, maybe after 2 years, it's not a lot. I wouldn't say, I don't know. I honestly, I'm not sure. I don't have enough trucks yet to say whether or not a factoring company is worth keeping once you have 8+ trucks or not, whether or not you start needing to hire 2 individuals, and how is your business affected by the brokers that you deal with. That's just all that it boils down to, is how long are these brokers going to take to pay? The ones that you're mainly hauling for, if they're constantly going to take 30-60 days to pay for the stuff, then that all is going to depend if you're going to factor or not. If you're dealing with somebody that's going to pay you every 15-30 days, then yeah, I think it's very doable, just having cash flow coming through. And so that's just, anyways, that's what all I'm trying to say. All right. It's all business, it's all based off your business, how you have it set up. If your brokers are taking forever to pay or whatever the case is, it's like SoCal La Fama, easy to get, easy to lose. For the accounts, nothing easier than getting authority at Niagara Waters. No one is looking to haul their heavy loads. Exactly. All right. So that's all I'm trying to say. I don't know if like I said, I don't know if in the long term, if factoring is something that you should be doing for the long term, but it could be something that after 6 trucks, and plus you're getting a really good deal, like my man's Ghost is getting right now. So it's just all depending. I don't have that information to say, because I'm in my thoughts, if the companies are taking 60 days to pay and you have to cash flow 60 days, obviously you start having money coming in, but then you have to take the variables such as fuel. If fuel is going up while your rates that are coming in was from 60 days ago, that's increasing, as well as tolls, as well as possibly truck payment, as well as your growth. So factoring company, you can use it for growth, for rapid growth. So it just all depends, on your business. If by having the factoring, you can grow a lot faster, because yes, you're having money just pouring in as soon as you're completing the loads, versus waiting 30-60 days. Then that hinders you, because now you have to save up the reserve then you have to have money to keep up the business, and then you have to have money to save up to buy the extra truck or buy the equipment, or get another employee. So it's just really all these different variables come into play, and it's just based off of everybody's thing. I would say 20K is good enough to start your authority. To have some money set aside for your truck, in case it breaks down, and just fines, and just stuff like that. So anyways, folks, I'll look at these little remarks real quick, and we'll see what we have to say here. All right. We got, damn, 60 days, that sucks. Not everybody's paying off 60 days, so it just all depends on your customers that you're dealing with. Hey truckers, I'm considerate four-wheeler, never cut you off. Gemini confirmed. Appreciate that. Don't cut us off. The water loads pay great for local work. Maybe we should teach it, Hamlet, SoCal trucker. So is 20K good enough money to start your authority? Yep, I answered that. I think it is a decent amount. I don't like to using my reserve when I can use someone else's money. And that's the other thing. You can use somebody else's money, to grow. Exactly, Ghost. Someone else's money shit. Yeah, Ghost, that's a rule of thumb. Are you back in the truck that you had an accident, or did you give it up? That video is coming out. All right, I got to talk about that. That's a whole nother video. MD Chevy Box Boy. All right, always keep your money and always use someone else's. All right. So anyways, at the end of the day, folks, we're just trying to keep more money in our pockets, essentially. And you have to decide whether or not this 7,000 to 10,000 is gonna hurt you, or not. And I don't think it. I don't think it is. 7,000 ain't nothing. That's just like a week that you didn't work. Compared to if you were leased on your equipment to another carrier that you were giving 20%. That's a lot of more. That's way more money that you're losing, folks. So don't forget, smash the like button, smash subscribe button, and hit the bell on the way out. I'm gonna drop a video today about factoring. Still hogging. Do it. Let's see it. All right. At the end of the day, folks, it's pretty simple. Get busy living or get busy dying. It's your boy Hamlet. Check y'all later.